Todd, we pride ourselves on being independent evaluators who never, I repeat, never compare notes.
Never.
Yet, for the first time in our history together, we have a consensus. Top 5. Same top 5 for Todd McShay and Kiper.
It's only taken 8 years. You're coming around, though. You're coachable, Coach.
I hear you. Now, let's go to off the board entirely. Best player in this draft in terms of upside.
Upside, I'm going to go strictly off of value. Mike Evans. Now, I've got Sammy Watkins, the Clemson wide receiver, rated higher. But where you can get Evans and how he projects. He's a basketball star coming out of high school, going to Texas A&M. They redshirt him. He's come a long way. And you look at down the field, of all the top receivers in this year's class, he had 25%. It was the most, the highest percent of all wide receivers in terms of balls caught down the field beyond 25 yards. Those 50-50 balls, when they're in the air, it's an 80% proposition for Mike Evans. He doesn't have to run routes. He is a separator when the ball's in the air.
He's a third-year sophomore.
Yes.
My guy's a third-year sophomore, too. And remember telling about him? We talked about it back in September. And he said, that Kiper's overhyping this Robinson guy.
Done it before.
Came around. You came around. Well, Greg Robinson. What a player he is. Left tackle at Auburn. Pass protection and skills will get better. You think about an athletic freak, a kid who went out and just dominated in the trenches for the Auburn Tigers, who played for the national title and almost won it. This is a kid who could be, not the second pick in the draft, certainly in the top 5 or 6 overall. As a third-year sophomore, he skyrocketed up the board. You think about a guy that presents risk. Any player, where are you going, Todd?
You're not going to like this one, but UCLA outside linebacker Anthony Barr. Speed rusher, has explosive burst off the line. I see that, and I love him as a teammate, team player. Talk to the coaching staff, they rave about it. But I think he has a lot of soft edges. I put in the tape, after watching him during the season, I put in the coach copy tape, and I just didn't see a guy who wanted to set the edge, who had the explosiveness. I saw a little bit of tightness in his game. I'm worried he's going to wind up as maybe a top 10, top 15 pick being overdrafted.
Well, had he come out last year, he would have been a top 10 pick. Now this year he may be underdrafted, so we disagree on Anthony Barr. Now, I'm going to go to a player, when you talk about a guy that presents some risk, that you like, and I like him too, quarterback Blake Bortles. And
could be the first overall pick in this draft.
He could be. I said, he presents some risk. You say where he would go. Now, you say he doesn't have the big arm, which I agree with. I say his ball placement bothers me. And in the NFL, that's a key to being a great quarterback. So I'm not saying he's not going to be a decent to good, but to be great, ball placement has to improve with Blake Bortles to be that type of quarterback. Now, let's go to a player that presents some under the radar, maybe a steal, maybe a guy's going to go as a bargain at some point in the draft. Where are you going?
Jeremiah Atalchu. I love this guy. Georgia Tech, defensive end, outside linebacker, originally from Nigeria. Late bloomer. He finally came into his own this year, and it was with the transition from 3-4 outside linebacker to 4-3 defensive end. Gets his hand in the dirt. Final 6 games, 10.5 sacks, 4 against Georgia. I think he's going to be a second-round steal, and he can fit in either a 3-4 or a 4-3 at the next level.
Pass rusher Atalchu. I'll go with a cover guy in Jimmy Ward from Northern Illinois, a safety who's a ball hawk, an interception waiting to happen. Early in his career, he was a special teams dynamo. This is a kid, for today's NFL, the perfect safety. And you think about this NFL draft, Todd, could be the best ever. See the big 5 here? The depth is unbelievable. Almost 100 underclassmen in this draft. Look out. May 8th, 9th, and 10th. What a great 3 days it's going to be. The best ever NFL draft coming. We're talking best players on the draft labs. What a year it's going to be.